called Getting Buggy with Dana. So you can ask questions here. You can ask questions later. We'll just kind of see how it goes and how it flows. But worms in the trout's diet. What are aquatic worms? Well, they are annelids. Okay, so there's some main categories of the entomology. And I love talking about entomology, but I don't love getting geeky about entomology. Entomology for fly fishing is different than entomology for a master's degree in being a bug nerd. Annelids, soft body organisms, orgasms. They are found in muddy or silty riverbeds. Okay, so when do worms come out? Well, they're kind of there all the time. But another thing to notice is that they come in natural colors like pink and red, like we're going to be tying tonight, and also brown and nude, which I didn't put on there. But worms are everywhere. And as a kid, you remember dunking worms with a bobber. Well, it's kind of the same thing. So this fly is very simple that we're going to tie, but it's very effective. So don't negate the ease of tying this fly. And when you tie one, you should tie 300. All right. So next thing, high water conditions, spring runoff, heavy rains, heavy rains, heavy rains, and rain. When it rains, what do you look out on your sidewalk and see? You see worms. They come out of the cracks. I don't know why, but they do. They're drowned out. And then they get washed into the river. And then the trout sit by the storm drains and they gobble, gobble, gickle. They eat all the worms and they don't even spend a nickel. So remember, always have a worm on, because if you don't know what the fish are actually eating, throw in a worm. If there's muddy, silty water, if there's storm drains, that's the kind of thing that you would like to fish. Tailwaters, okay, great source of worms. How to fish the worm patterns? Well, they're not dry flies and they're not streamers, as I mentioned earlier, but they are bobbing down in the river. So indicator rigs, tight line rigs, you can put them as a dropper rig if you would like to do that so much as so. A little pro tip here is think of the worm pattern as your go-to option during all water conditions. And I wrote dirty because we talked about the rain. And if you see the river turning brown, muddy, whatever, grab your worms. And yeah, they're trout candy.